Some good news today. There's no denying it. July was a challenging month for a lot of people and on a collective consciousness level. A lot of dark stuff came up. A lot of people have been tossed back into looking at old issues they thought they dealt with. But going forward into August, the energy has shifted. This new moon we had recently in Leo, and Leo is much more fun and playful. And so we're going to talk about some good things in our world, kind of different from what's usually going on in any type of show. Everybody's talking about the negative.
Yeah, we've got one little negative, haven't we? Didn't you say you had an update on Epstein?
Well, the only thing I wanted to mention was they're focusing very much right now in all the mainstream media on bringing up lots of gossipy stuff about that he had planned to have 20 young girls there, and he wanted to keep them pregnant with his DNA on a regular basis, and was very interested in transhumanism. And they're just screaming a lot about that, about scientists who he brought there and their responses. So they're doing a big focus, like, look over here, look at this amazing yucky stuff over here. And the reason is, of course, so you're not looking at the spy end of it. And speaking of the trial, they set it for almost a year away because there's over 1 million documents in the discovery to go through.
It's going to be huge.
And more and more. This is going to be huge.
So the biggest challenge is going to be to keep them alive until we get to the trial. Yeah.
It's like you want to have a party, but you've ignored your house for a long time and it's really dirty. We've been doing a lot of house cleaning. Don't look below the level behind me.
Just stay here.
Just stay right here while I have a little bit of clean space. We have to do the cleanup because we want our home to look nice and we want it to feel good. But we're shifting now where we can start to celebrate that. And one person I want to tell you about, because I hope you join his movement, he has started something called Twitter Philanthropy. His name is Bill Pulte, Pulte. That's where you'll find him. You can also just say Twitter Philanthropy. So he's a wealthy guy. What is his business? He has his family had a building business, home building business, but he also has Pulte Capital. So he's got money, and he has started giving it away. He just said, my goal is to start helping people who need it, and I want to do it directly. I'm not going to send it to an organization that's going to take 95% of it.
Fees.
Yeah,
90% administration fees.
And I want to connect people who want to give, but are not going to be giving to those organizations for that same reason and don't know what to do. And if we can get this really big, imagine we could change the world.
Absolutely.
And he's just been doing it. He has given, what's some of the things that happen? He'll say, he wants to get it to spread. So he encourages people to retweet this. Can you retweet this? And I will randomly give somebody $1,000 toward paying their student debt. He also said, if President Trump retweets this, I will give somebody $30,000 toward something. I can't remember what that one was exactly. He's focusing a lot on veterans right now, people who are homeless, or a guy who finally got a job after being homeless a long time, but he needs a car to do it, and he doesn't have a car. Getting him a car. Got an insurance company that had denied medical care for a girl that she needed to save her life, because it was $2 million or something like that. It was very expensive. And he got everybody in, calling them up and saying, pay for it, and got her this care.
Wow.
And people he's saying, I will give this much money to somebody who needs it right now for whatever reason. And other people will come in and say, I want it too. I'll double that. I'll add $100 to that.
Oh, wow. So they're not just waiting for him to save the world. They're actually joining in the movement.
And people are starting their own local area ones too. And he's engaging people really, really nicely. He'll connect people with GoFundMe accounts.
Oh, yeah.
And say, even if you can only give $5, that's great. And he raised $15,000 for this guy to get a car, I can't remember if that was the one, in 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
Because he connected everybody, and everybody's going, this feels so good.
Yeah. He's not sitting there talking about, look, maybe we should do this. He just started
doing it
and said, come with me. It's kind of like, there was this wonderful video of I don't know if it was a festival or an outdoor concert or something like that, with one guy standing there dancing like there's no tomorrow. Everybody else is sitting around and like, and he danced for ages. So they just left the camera rolling, and it might have been like, almost 10 minutes before somebody actually came and danced with him. And then he looked so excited. So somebody danced. Gosh. And then they kind of got a bit shy and they went away and then somebody else came, and then people started moving. So it was like setting up a movement. It was persistence, it's like that thing we talked about. It's law of attraction stuff. It's what Cosmic Agency talked about. Persistence. You set it in motion, but you must keep going and don't falter. Just keep going. This is what I want to happen. This is what I want to happen. And for him, it's not like he wanted lots of people to join him. He just wanted to dance. That's what he was going to do. And everybody else was a bit shy. And so even in this case as well, it's so lovely that people are willing to start giving money as well.
And are getting excited about it.
Yeah.
And he seems like just a lovely man. He says, all you people who are saying, thank you, how wonderful I am. I'm just a regular guy. I screw up all the time. So don't be putting me on a pedestal.
So humble.
He just seems like a really great down-to-earth guy. And his Twitter account has 176,000 followers from, I don't know, I picked up on him when he first started this.
So far?
3 weeks ago. But it's just a
3 weeks.
He's on
Instagram
as well. Yeah. It's really new, and it's just grown like crazy, and people are all getting inspired. I want to do it too. I want to help too. He has some agencies he's working with to help vet people out, especially veterans. I can't remember the agency he mentioned. I just want to make sure that the person who's saying
really needs it.
Can you help me? I need this. That they really do it. So he's being kind of careful about it. But I just love that. If you random person who retweets this, I'll give $1,000 to. And just like everybody starts retweeting it. And his intention isn't to get famous; it's to get the movement going.
Yeah. That's
so
brilliant.
Join us. It's quite lovely.
It is good. And I think, like giving direct, like you're saying, is really important. If you can find a way to give without the middlemen, of course, GoFundMe is useful. And a lot of those Kickstarter things and all the rest, they are very useful, because they literally collect the money on the spot and then can deliver it. So that's very simple. It's not like charities that feed themselves before they feed anybody else.
If they even feed anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people are not just donating money. There was a young man, I think a teenager, who said, I don't have any money to give, but if there's a senior in my area or somebody who can't do it, I'm happy to go mow their lawn for them. Or, for instance, the veteran who didn't have any front teeth. He said, does anybody know a dentist in the area that's willing to do this? Spread it out. Find the people who can do the things that we need. So he's creating this huge network. There's a website as well. Oh, goodness, what's it called? Philanthropist.com.
Oh, okay.
And you can go and sign up to be part of it. So that's pretty fun, too.
I'm thinking having that on Twitter is also good publicity, because Twitter, along with, a lot of the other social media networks, are really getting it in the neck at the moment for their deliberate censoring and going against the Constitution, I think, is more the key, rather than their own rules, which they constantly change. So this is a really good story for Twitter. This is good publicity for them, and I bet they'll be completely behind it.
Another thing I've been seeing on Twitter that's good news is a lot of people are going, I haven't seen a chemtrail in weeks.
Yeah, there still seems to be some around. I've been checking on the groups as well, but there's been a lot less for sure. Or there are different, they look different. Some of them, they've posted photos and they're very, very fine, or they're done in little stints. I don't know if that's just to pretend that they're clouds. Little rectangles.
Well, what we have to remember is that this isn't done by one big all-encompassing world organization. They're little subcontractors, so you can't just stop it all at once. But I've noticed that the skies are clear and are bluer. Of course, it's summer, but I remember last summer
in California
more.
Yeah, it's not always blue in California, right?
Right.
Yeah, ours have been beautiful blue as well. I haven't had as many. I noticed like there were always a regular amount, and then they slowed down. I thought, well, okay, I'll keep watching. And you talk to people around you, and they go, "What? Huh?" Like don't even notice. But so I have to watch all by myself. And then they got to the point where they would put them in the sky about half a day before it rained. That was the only time that they would do it. Or they might be doing it when it was a cloudy day, but in Sydney there's not a lot of cloudy days. So
right.
It was strategic, you might say, not just blasting all the time. And now there are a lot less, for sure.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a reality. They're talking about it now, and it's been going on for a long time. In the mid-'80s, I was in college, and I took a meteorology class, and the teacher was talking to us about how they were seeding the clouds.
Oh,
Airplanes
wow.
would go up and seed the clouds to bring more rain. I mean, the 80s, and then I saw an article or maybe it was a paper some time ago talking about the successful program in the early 60s of cloud seeding. So it's not
I've seen
thing.
Black and white, so it must have been from a newspaper, black and white photographs and
right.
articles about that. So whether it was 60s or even earlier, but just the idea of it might have been around for quite a long time as to what they put into it. But you have to wonder sometimes there might be ideas that genuinely were meant to be good and then they get compromised as well. And we see that with people as well, people that we feel really good about and then they start to say things that don't match what they used to say. I don't know whether that's mind control kind of stuff or what.
Oh dear, sure. Getting a little dark.
It is, isn't it? Okay, we'll keep with the fun. What other fun stuff? I've noticed a lot of people are feeling a lot more creative and, there's also, I've noticed people that are kind of following behind us. I think they're kind of catching up. They're going through the things that we were going through a few years ago where they're freaking out about the fact that they do not care about working anymore. They just want to do what they love to do. And that's more important than earning lots of money and having the best car in the street. And I think it's scary for people to give up that materialism thing that they've been brought up on their whole lives and that they suddenly don't feel like that anymore. So
evolution.
Yeah, that's it.
Spiritual.
The people talk about it a bit and they're kind of embarrassed about it. And I say, it's okay. It's all right. Just, play. It's all right.
I saw some people, there was actually 3 people talking, and they're involved, one of them came from banking, and he was given the offer to go dark and chose not to take it. And they took everything away from him, and he's been surveilled for years and years and all of that stuff, although, of course, we all are. And she came at it more from the spiritual psychic point of view. She's a medium and a channel. And then they brought a guest, and I don't know his name because he was not going to be telling it. And I kind of understand. But one of the things I talked about was that there is a whole new banking system or global money system that one of the guys participated in creating that they were going to release in 2012. And he said then all of his partners were suddenly arrested, and he doesn't know why he's the only one who got left, except for he knows he was like the spiritual person in the group more and has lots of experience with extraterrestrial stuff. So he thought he was being protected. But it's still there and it's available, and that funds had been put away and that specific families have been holding on to funds, and that there is a plan at some point that when we're ready, they already have this whole new system in place or created, and all the software and hardware and firmware and all that stuff is already ready for when it's time to take down the
across. Was there any clue as to what the new system is about, what it looks like, or how it works?
I didn't watch the whole thing because I ran out of time, but I could get back to you on that.
Yeah, because it's like I've heard similar that there's a system ready to go, and I'm like, well, what is that like? Like apparently Bitcoin is the intermediary. It gives us a clue as to what it's about. That it's generated by the people. There's no one central place where this money is generated. But it does that. But even Bitcoin seems to go up and down in shares, kind of like a share market. And what controls that, I don't know. So if you, for example, did a coaching job and it was worth $1,000, 1,000 Bitcoin, not dollars, and then you just left it in the Bitcoin, it's random as to whether it'll suddenly be worth $3,000 or drop down to 700, which is
or less.
Yeah, which is a little bit insecure. So they need to find something that's more stable than that, I think.
Well, evidently, there's what Q talks about a lot, and gosh, David Wilcock has been talking about this from long before that there is an alliance of white hats, which are the good guys, and the people I saw in the interview, he said white hat was a term that they came up with in their group. I'll have to find it and see if I can send a link to it, or talk more about it next time if I get more information. What I found when I was watching these guys, though, was they kind of sounded like you and I.
Yeah.
They're spiritual. They've got that side of them. They're aware of all the dark stuff. They went through the dark exploration, learning all about it, and are here to make the change and know that. So it was rather interesting to feel like, oh yeah, there's other people out there doing this. Yay.
Yeah. All over the world, in different languages too. So you and I are only exploring the English language, but there are people in every country that are doing this. And that's kind of lovely to know, isn't it? Like, we can't see them, but just to know that they're there, and there's so many people around the world now that want to make a better world. It's not about just lining their own pocket anymore. They want to change the way things are going. And even little kids who will probably be even more powerful than us in making that happen. Absolutely determined. You've seen some of the videos, and they're like crying because somebody ate a cow. That's on your mummy's plate's got a cow, and there's no way I'm ever going to eat that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Or we've got to clean up the water. Like, I remember seeing one of a little boy, a preschooler, not even at school, sitting there in his little car seat in the back seat of the car with his little seatbelt on, and we've got to clean up the water. It's so important. I'm like, wow. That one's got his mission before he was born. It's very clear to him already how lovely to know exactly what you're doing before you get to adult age. I've always wondered that, my brother and sister, they both knew what direction they were heading. And I'm kind of like, no, I don't know. I'm good at this bit and good at this bit and good at this bit, but I don't know where I'm meant to be. I don't have my drive, my mission, that this is the one direction. It's curious.
What about now?
Well, at the moment, it's heading towards sort of like show business side of things, which sounds frivolous, but it's necessary. The arts and culture and creativity side of things is necessary. And to draw people away from their screens and in front of performing artists where they can experience emotion or be moved from one state to the next, I think is more important than we give it credit for.
Yeah, arts of all types have been hijacked and used against us. So it is because it's very powerful stuff.
It is.
So having people who are working like Tiffany Fitzhenry to turn it around and use that power of art and creativity for the positive is all good news. I like it.
It is. Heading in the right direction.
We have a bright future. Exactly. So thanks for joining us. Talk to you soon.
See ya.